All right, today's question: if everything is going well, yes, why would I not? Why would I or anyone else have a drink? The problem is when the shit hits the fan, we look for an escape, a painkiller, a way to numb out. And yeah, I have to agree with that. There's definitely some truth in that, right? And when the shit hits the fan, that's one of the reasons why I always drank. Was as soon as the shit hit the fan, I wanted to get drunk. So it is where it is, isn't it? That's exactly what I used to do. The problem is that I think the more you do this, the more you live with your life with alcohol, the more you don't see this as a choice, the more it becomes, drinking, for me, it's always an option, right? You always have a choice in this. Even now, right? It's an option that's there. It's a choice that's there. It's a choice that's there. It's not an option, but it's a choice. And once you don't allow that as an option in your life anymore, it stops becoming a choice, at least for you, at least in your world, and that's what counts.
Real quick, I just want to announce that we've got a private coaching group starting on March the 2nd. We're doing intensive life coaching for 30 days. If you're looking to quickly get alcohol out of your life, then this is for you. Doors open next Monday. Because it's so intensive, I can only take on 15 people at a time. So if you're interested, get on the early access list. The link's in the description below. Okay, back to the video.
There is no chance that I would ever drink alcohol, no matter what happened in my life. It is what it is. I've gone through the worst possible things. I've gone through deaths and grieving when I was drunk, and I've gone through deaths and grieving when I've been sober. And I can tell you, it was far easier is probably a wrong word to put on it. It was a lot more manageable. I felt more in control of things. I still went through a grieving process. Actually, when I look back on the grieving processes that I was supposed to go on, it elongated the grieving processes when I was drinking, and you never really go into it because you're thinking in terms, it's a wrong, it's kind of a what's the best way of putting this? I'm trying to think on my feet here with this, where I was when, my wife died when I was drinking, and I just fell into alcohol, in a big way, because that was what my go-to crutch was. That was my go-to solvent for everything, was to drink. So you never really dealt with any issues. I was more, you're blaming yourself, you're blaming the things that you could have done, you're looking at regrets, you're looking at all this kind of stuff. And I'm not saying that that's not part of the process that you have to go through, but it's not a I think it has to have some kind of a logic with it. With alcohol, I find for myself that I didn't go through that logical kind of process. Like I said, it's different for everyone, but I always found that as soon as whenever the shit hits the fan for me, and I tell you now, the shit doesn't hit the fan quite as often as it did when I was drunk, because you feed into that, right? And I think you're wrong in the sense that it's not just when the shit hits the fan, right? When the alcohol is a reaction to good or bad, to fun, or when things are fucked up in your life, when it's raining or when it's sunny, right? It becomes a part and parcel of the way that you think. It becomes part of the way that you spend your life, So, and you're stuck in the habit, and you just stuck revolving around this habit. And when you're stuck in the life that drinking life, that's all you can see. So it's the only fun that you hold on to. It's the only fun that you know. I didn't know any other way until I stopped drinking of having fun, except going out and getting hammered, going out and getting drunk in a pub, because that's all I knew. How bad is that? And it's such a watered down version of fun. And I still look back on it as fun times in one way, and it shows you how much, how effective the programming was. And this programming doesn't start when you start drinking. It starts well before that, because alcohol is seen as a normal part of life. It's seen as a way to have fun. It's seen as a way to socialize and to relax, right? So I look at it in another way as what a fucking waste of time my life was back then, you know, in comparison to what I do now. And you only see this really when you, you know, I've been alcohol free now for 11 years, and I can see how much I've done. I did more in the first 2 years than I'd done in the rest of my life as a drinker, because you're varied, you're free from that box that you've trapped yourself into. And once you get free of that, then, you know, your experiences of life expand. You start to see more in life, you start to experience more, you start to dig into yourself more, and that gives you, I think, much more freedom, you know. So it is what it is. You always get to choose your own sacrifice, right? You're sacrificing yourself. You know, there's always going to be a sacrifice in life. When you decide to stop drinking alcohol, you've got to sacrifice that part of you that still wants to stop drinking alcohol, but it all comes down to choice, right? All right, take care. Speak to you in the next one.